Hello guys, welcome back to the Brutal Investor channel. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. In this episode, we're going to talk about a very interesting project in my opinion, and this project is definitely going to perform well. And this project is called Delta Financial or Delta, right? So if you guys want to do research on this project, I suggest you to go to this website, blockonomy.com/delta financial guide, and they have provided this very important and very useful guide for anyone who aims to do their own research on Delta Financial, so that you can decide whether you want to you want to invest in this project or not, right? So Delta Financial, new project working to revolutionize decentralized finance, right? Delta Financial is the latest project by Core as a tool to improve the liquidity of decentralized option markets, right? So if you guys don't know, Core is one of the most popular DeFi projects that was launched you know last year. uh, Again, it came out as a result of the DeFi craze, and the core token itself was performing really well. They had a very unique mechanism which I believe I'll cover in a future video, and that project is also it was a very popular project. And although many people started thinking initially that it was a scam, it later proved everyone wrong and did really well, and it's currently one of the most underrated projects of the DeFi ecosystem, right? So, what is Delta Financial? So, Delta Financial is the latest project by Core as a tool to improve the liquidity of decentralized options markets as well as core Dex ecosystem, right? So, again, the core team is the same team that has developed Delta Financial, and if you know or if you have any credibility of trusting the core team, then I believe that you can probably trust Delta Financial as a project because it is produced by the same team, right? Their main focus is to improve liquidity of the decentralized options market as well as the core DEX ecosystem. So again, there has been concerns where any decentralized exchange that is springing up is having liquidity crisis issues. There's been a couple of decentralized exchanges such as Uniswap, SushiSwap, Balancer. All of these are basically tier one decentralized exchanges on the Ethereum network. And if you see, PancakeSwap is one of the most popular decentralized exchange in the Binance Smart Chain, right? So since liquidity is kind of locked in these siloed decentralized exchanges, in the DEX, in a regular decentralized exchange ecosystem, there has been a liquidity crisis in the other decentralized exchanges that are springing up as tier 2 or tier 3 exchanges. Uh, Even less of that, you can find very little liquidity in decentralized options markets, right? Although currently there are a lot of options markets that are available in the decentralized ecosystem in several different networks, including Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain, it's very hard to get proper liquidity in order for people to do active trading in a decentralized manner. So, Delta Financial is mainly focused on trying to improve the liquidity of the decentralized options market as well as to improve the core DEX ecosystem, right? So, decentralized finance has become one of the most popular and prolific niches in the crypto world in recent months, but has suffered from scalability and performance issues as demand continues to grow. Again, pretty self explanatory. However, this demand is an issue originating from the existing blockchain networks used for the most popular DeFi platforms, but there are other aspects of DeFi that have not been addressed yet and have to do with their financial models. So again, apart from the scalability and the other issues that are currently suffering that are hurting the DeFi ecosystem, such as performance and transaction speeds and transaction fees, we can also see that the lack of liquidity is also one of the main issues, right? One of these aspects is the model of liquidity used by most markets, the need for a new approach to liquidity. The tokenization of assets has been one of the greatest benefits of blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies, driving niches like decentralized finance and non fungible tokens to be one of the most successful industries in the crypto ecosystems in the recent months. Again, you guys are very well aware that DeFi and NFTs are pretty much taking off. DeFi had its own summer last year, DeFi summer, where many DeFi tokens kind of like popped and was making some significant gains. And now we are in the midst of the NFT craze, and it doesn't seem to be ending. However, this tokenization has been primarily based on the Ethereum network, which has caused a lack of standardization for tokenized assets that have made it harder for different platforms and networks to guarantee liquidity for their assets. Again, pretty straightforward explanation. Since most of these big projects are based on the Ethereum network, there has been a lack of standardization for tokenized assets that have made it very hard for other platforms or different platforms and networks to guarantee liquidity for their assets. Again, very well said, because there's currently no standardization when it comes to any form of like tokenized assets and how much liquidity is available, and this is making it very hard for other networks such as Binance Smart Chain, and I believe that in the future Polkadot as well, to suffer from like the lack of standardization. And it seems like Delta is kind of building on that, right? This lack of liquidity not only increases the risk of volatility for big and small investors alike, but also results in lower efficiency and higher premiums, as tokenization is fundamental when it comes to allowing speculation on non-liquid assets. Again, very well said. Again, this lack of liquidity is not only going to hurt the big investors, but it's also going to hurt the small investors like you and I, because there is not a lot of liquidity for non-liquid assets. So again, we can go on and on in this, but overall, they are mainly stating that some of the key issues are going to be with regards to the lack of liquidity, and since there is no current solution to address this, Delta aims to do this, right? So how Delta Financial works. So again, pardon me, guys, if you feel like I'm skipping through the introduction. I will provide a link to this website in my video description, so that you guys can read through the entire article. It's a very good article. I suggest everyone to read through this before they decide to invest in Delta Financial, right? How Delta Financial works. Delta Financial approaches decentralized finance by using its OVL standard in conjunction with vesting schedule and a deep farming vault to promote healthier option prices for different tokenized assets, right? So there's a couple of things that we need to unravel in this particular sentence. So basically, Delta Financial addresses the lack of liquidity issue on the options market, on the decentralized options market, by using its OVL standard. So it has its OVL standard that it's using or leveraging in order to solve this issue in conjunction with vesting schedule. So it's using OVL standards along with the vesting schedule. Again, if you guys know, Core has a feature where if you provide if you provide liquidity, if you're a liquidity provider for Core, you had this option. You kind of had to like lock your liquidity, and the vesting schedule is kind of infinite. So even once you lock your liquidity, you won't be able to withdraw it, right? So similar to that, they're using the experience that they've gained from Core in order to include the vesting schedule and take the vesting schedule as an advantage to provide very fluid liquidity, right? And deep farming vault to promote healthier option prices for different tokenized assets. Again, they're using a combination of OVL standard, vesting schedules, and deep farming vault, which is also something that they've specialized in the Core through their Core project, through their project called Core Finance or Core. And they are using the same principles along with some modifications in order to deepen the liquidity for different tokenized assets, right? The Delta vesting mechanism is triggered automatically when transactions take place in the platform according to the vesting schedule, which will result in 10% of the tokens being transferred to the users, while the remaining 90% will stay locked and be released gradually over a period of 2 weeks. So how this works is the vesting mechanism is basically triggered automatically, which means any kind of interaction that you have with Delta Finance, any form of vesting schedule is basically triggered automatically when transactions take place in the platform according to a vesting schedule. So the vesting mechanism is automatically triggered whenever transaction happens within the Delta ecosystem, right? Which will result in 10% of the tokens being transferred to the user. So out of the vested tokens, 10% will be transferred to the users, while the remaining 90% will be locked and will be released gradually. So you won't be able to withdraw and release or use your 100% of the vested tokens. You will basically have 10% of it allocated to you, like transferred to you immediately, whereas the 90% of it will be locked and will be released gradually over a period of 2 weeks, right? Again, since 2 weeks is relatively like a nominal vesting schedule, I don't think it's a pretty bad vesting period. So most people can definitely swallow the pill. Users can cancel the transfer before the vesting period is over, but this will result in the immature tokens being distributed to the performance platform's vault to be distributed as staking rewards to other users. So again, the thing is, users can basically cancel the transfer before the vesting period is over. So you have the option of canceling the transfer, but it will result in the immature tokens being distributed to the platform's vault to be distributed. So anything that if you cancel, there's a loss of a specific percent of tokens, which will be redirected to the vault, and that it will go to people who are staking, like other people who are staking, right? So if you kind of it's basically like a slashing mechanism. So again, we have seen projects that have a slashing mechanism. So if you try to take the tokens earlier than the vested period, you will be slashed a 50% of your tokens or something like that, and the rest of the 50% will basically be like the 50%, the rest of the 50% will go to you, whereas the slashed 50% will kind of go into the vault, which will be redistributed to other people who have who follow the long vesting schedule, right? Similar to that, this project also has that kind of mechanism. While not exactly the same, similar approaches have been used by other platforms to reward holders while punishing day traders by burning assets when transferring them during a specific period before a specific period has been completed. So again, this is something that we already discussed before. We have multiple projects that kind of like punish people who are day trading and reward people who are hodling or who are staking for long term, in order to make sure that they prevent pumps and dumps for projects. And Delta Financial also aims to do the same, right? Delta Financial will not only use OVL, but also another type of liquidity known as permanently locked liquidity. Again, this is something that I touched upon when I spoke about Core Finance in a few seconds back. So Core basically has permanent locked liquidity program, where if you provide liquidity, your liquidity and if you lock your or if stake your liquidity is staked or locked forever, and you will never be able to get your original liquidity back, which kind of like guarantees permanent liquidity for people to kind of like access this platform, right? Similarly, Delta Financial is also incorporating this because it uses not only the OVL, but it also uses the permanent locked liquidity mechanism in order to guarantee liquidity, right? Which will allow the platform to decrease volatility by ensuring its liquidity and rewarding providers. So again, one of the main solutions to guaranteeing liquidity is by locking the liquidity permanently, and this is something that core finance is not really core finance is known for, and Delta Finance being like created by core finance's team. It only makes sense for them to use this because it not only guarantees liquidity but also prevents high volatility, because when people get a token, they try to dump it because they think that the token is going to depreciate, and they try to get the maximum value out of it, and by dumping it, they're basically adding to the volatility. Whereas in Delta Financial, you won't be able to see that because it's going to be the liquidity is going to be locked, right? Finally, Delta's deep farming vault will collect all the Delta tokens generated by user interruption of the vesting schedule, using this capital in case of high demand that required increased liquidity, effectively operating as a reserve. Again, one of the key components of this is basically the Delta Financial's deep farming vault, right? So what the deep farming vault will do is basically will collect all the Delta tokens that are generated by user interruption, which is basically when people try to remove tokens earlier prior to the 2 weeks vesting schedule, a small portion of their, a decent portion of their withdrawal is slashed, the reward is slashed, and the slashed reward it basically goes to the deep farming vault. And what happens to the slashed delta tokens is basically it's used, um, this basically goes to the vault and forms this capital, okay, this initial capital that in cases of high demand that require increased liquidity. So in the case of high demand for delta tokens, when there's a high demand and they have to provide or meet the demands, a portion of the deep farming vault's delta tokens is being used to address that issue, right? Effectively operating as a reserve. So there's multiple components to this. Again, it may not be as clear if when I explain. So I highly recommend you guys to do your own research and include this website as a part of your DYOR and understand this project. It's a little bit complicated for people who don't really understand core finance and locked liquidity or permanently locking liquidity. That kind of concept is quite unique to certain projects such as Core and Delta Finance. So if you guys don't really understand that, I highly recommend you to read through this and maybe even watch other YouTube videos that have dedicated videos for Delta Financial, and then invest in this project. Don't just blindly jump into this project, right? So there's a portion of the delta is allocated as a reserve, which will help address any form of high demand issues in the future. So let's talk about the delta token and the RLP tokens, which are basically two important components of this ecosystem. Delta Financial will make use of two different tokens to achieve its goal, the Delta token and RLP tokens, right? So again, it's a two token concept. So let's see what these two tokens do. RLP tokens represent the permanent locked liquidity of the platform and use a mechanism known as liquidity rebasing that makes them more difficult to mint over time, increasing scarcity and providing them with a deflationary nature. So again, if you have seen some of my previous videos, I have covered a few rebasing tokens in the past, or senior age tokens in the past. So basically, rebasing is a mechanism where if you hold a token, let's say for example, Ample Fourth is one of the popular tokens. That's a rebasing token, and when you hold Ample Fourth, depending on the price, like Ample Fourth is basically pegged to it aims to peg to $1, right? But it's actually not rigidly pegged. Therefore there's this flexibility. So when people try to buy Ample, as the demand increases for Ample tokens, the price of Ample tokens goes above $1, and that causes Ample, the algorithm of Ample, to kind of rebase, which means it automatically injects or issues new tokens, new Ample tokens, in such a way that if you hold one Ample, if you buy one Ample for $1 and the price of one Ample reaches $2, you have two Ample tokens, each worth $2, right? And as a trader, as human traders, we try to take advantage of that and try to sell one Ample, which kind of like brings back the price of the Ample token back to $1. And this is basically called rebasing, because depending on a particular condition, the protocol issues new token in order to achieve a specific price target, right? So similar to that concept, in Delta Financial, the RLP tokens basically represent permanently locked liquidity. So whenever you lock liquidity, the RLP tokens are basically issued, and these represent the permanent locked liquidity of the platform and uses mechanism known as liquidity rebasing. So the RLP tokens continue have a feature where they rebase, or they use this concept called liquidity rebasing that makes them more difficult to mint over time, increasing scarcity and providing them with a deflationary nature. So by following a specific set of rules, the RLP tokens have liquidity rebasing mechanisms that help them to achieve scarcity, and thereby making the RLP tokens very deflationary, right? Which is going to make it much more of a potential investment, right? This liquidity rebasing will ensure that the size of the liquidity pool stays the same while the price of RLP tends to increase, which also creates an opportunity for early adopters to stake their capital during the limited staking window to maximize their profits by acquiring RLP at face value. So again, there's a couple of things that we have to unravel here. So basically, this liquidity rebasing will ensure that the size of the liquidity pool stays the same. So by having this liquidity rebasing feature, the size of the liquidity pool will stay the same, whereas the price of the RLP token will continue to increase, right? Which creates an opportunity for early adopters. So if you are an early adopter of RLP, you will probably be able to take advantage of this feature and stake your capital during the limited staking window. I believe that period is kind of over right now. To maximize their profits by acquiring RLP at face value, right? So you will be able to acquire RLP at face value, and as RLP tokens continue to rebase and increase in price, while the liquidity pool remains the same, people will be able to make this RLP token as a worthy investment, right? While RLP tokens are the platform's yield farming token, Delta tokens are given as a reward to stakers using the Delta vesting mechanism. So RLP tokens basically serve as this yield farming token, where once you stake it and yield it, once you obtain it and you use the staking mechanism, you'll be able to see the rebasing kind of increase the price of your RLP tokens. You will be able to receive Delta tokens, which is the second token of the ecosystem, by staking using the Delta vesting mechanism, right? Any Delta transfer will create partially locked liquidity and incur a burn to reduce total supply, creating scarcity. So whenever you transfer Delta tokens, this will create partially locked liquidity, and thereby incur a burning mechanism to reduce the total supply of Delta tokens, thereby causing for the scarcity of the token, right? So again, it's still I understand it's a very complex topic. There's still a lot of resources that are available. This is just one of the many resources that I thought I could use to share in this video for Delta as well as the RLP tokens. But if you guys want to find other resources that have a better way of explaining, please share them in the comment box below so that everybody else can also use it for their own research, right? Both of these tokens can be staked by investors to generate passive income in the form of rewards, which will be released in the form of ETH and Delta. So again, the one best and the one most unique thing about this project is that both of these tokens, RLP tokens as well as Delta tokens, can be staked by an investor, right, to generate passive income in the form of rewards. So you can basically stake both of these tokens to earn passive income, and you will be earning these passive incomes not only in the form of the native token Delta token, but you'll also be getting Ethereum, which is a very highly valuable second most popular cryptocurrency by market cap, and you will be paid in Ethereum, right? That is really cool and amazing. The total Delta supply will be 45 million, originally distributed among the liquidity reserve vault, 46%, bonding curve liquidity 4%, Delta team funds 23%, strategic partnerships and growth fund 17%, and R&D fund 10%. So again, very clear breakdown of the Delta token, and its supply will be 45 million. The total supply will be 45 million tokens, which is very low because most of the tokens have 100 million or more. Some of them have, I think one of the tokens that we saw yesterday was 1 billion tokens. So in the world of max supply for different projects, 45 million tokens is actually very low, right? And I really like that about the Delta project and Delta token, and that's something that is definitely making me personally want to invest more in this project. I already have a small bag of Delta, but I'm trying to buy it at a little bit of a discount, so I'm trying to wait for a good opportunity. But I do hold some Delta tokens. I will definitely buy in more because I'm really happy with the very low max supply, and also it's going to be a scarce token, as we saw before. There will be burning mechanisms that will make Delta even more scarcer, and that's something that I really want to see. Again, they have this very good pie chart that explains the breakdown and the overall distribution is going to be 67% is going to be distributed to the community, so 23% for the team and 10% for R&D. Again, they also have a nice R&D component, which makes me feel like you can see much more of these projects from this team. So that's going to be very interesting, because it seems like this project is using their experience from their core project and using it in Delta, and you will only see them becoming more and more better by using their R&D funds to learn as much as they can when it comes to this project, and use it and to create a different and better project, which we'll definitely be seeing soon, right? The limited staking window, the foundation of Delta Financial. So again, we'll dive a bit into detail about the limited staking window, and we'll kind of like skip several other portions for the purpose of this video, right? So basically, the limited staking window is a new staking mechanism introduced by the team behind Core. During this period, users can permanently stake Ether to obtain RLP tokens at face value and with a bonus. So, during the limited staking window, people are able to stake ETH to earn or to obtain RLP tokens at face value and with the bonus, right? So if you had participated in the limited staking video, then congratulations to you. If you haven't, then again, don't worry. There's still multiple opportunities within the project itself to stake and to profit, right? Once the 10-day window closes, the smart contract will distribute RLP to participants depending on the ETH they staked, as well as automatically list the token on Uniswap, start the rebasing of RLP tokens, and initiate the farming contract. So again, there's a 10-day period. I believe it was a few weeks back where the 10-day period was initiated, and then I believe last week or the week or like early last week was when the staking window kind of was closed. I did not participate in the staking window, but it is something that I was having my eye on. I really didn't fully understand this project at that time, but as I started looking at more resources, I started understanding this project, right? But anyway, the 10-day window basically closes, and once the 10-day staking window closes, the smart contract will basically distribute RLP to people who stake their ETH, and again, it's proportional to how many Ether you have staked, right? As well as automatically list the token on Uniswap. So the smart contract will automatically list the token on Uniswap and will start the rebasing of the RLP tokens and initiate the farming contract. So all of this happened simultaneously, right? Half of the Ethereum staked by the participants will then be deposited into the liquidity reserve vault and bonding curve, with the other half being sent to the developer fund contract. So again, what did they do with the Ethereum that was staked? They basically split it into two. Half of it went to the liquidity reserve vault and bonding curve, and the other half went to the developer fund contract. The Delta smart contract code was made available 48 hours before the start of the limited staking window to allow users to review it, allowing interested parties to ensure the legitimacy of the project and report any inconsistencies they find. Again, this is very unique because I am really happy that projects are definitely, there are very few projects like Delta that's actually doing this, because there is a opportunity for people to kind of review the project as well as the limited staking window and see if they find anything suspicious about it before they can invest in this project, right? I feel like this is something that's definitely going to be an inspiration for other projects to follow, because this is how transparent that you have to be in order to succeed in the DeFi ecosystem, where there's a lot of scams and rug pulls, right? So I just want to quickly go through the core Dex ecosystem. Core has launched other projects before Delta Financial, with all of them experiencing great success among crypto enthusiasts, something that is difficult to achieve for most anonymous projects. Again, Core has an anonymous team backing it, and Core is one of the popular projects, and I'm only aware of Core and Delta Financial from this team. I don't know what other projects that they were involved in, and again, I will be interested in learning more about this team and what other projects they were involved in and what other projects they're involving themselves in the future, right? Core Vault launched back in September of 2020 as a means to provide deflationary farming to the masses that distanced itself from the existing approaches of the DeFi niche, which Core's development team considered to be unsustainable. Again, Core's development team consists of anonymous members, and they launched the Core Vault in September 2020, and they wanted to provide a deflationary farming mechanism to the masses because many people were trying to distance themselves from the existing DeFi craze, not only because of the fact that they were thinking it's a bubble. They were also like worried that it's not going to be sustainable for too long for all of these DeFi projects to succeed the way they did. And it seems like the core team was in agreement with the unsustainable nature of the other projects. Core Vault or Core is a non-inflationary cryptocurrency that executes profit-generating strategies autonomously in an entirely decentralized manner. Again, this is basically what Core is. Core is basically a non-inflationary cryptocurrency that executes profit-generating strategies autonomously in an entirely decentralized manner, right? However, while other autonomous strategy executing platforms have a predetermined strategy, core token holders can propose and vote on which strategies will be executed by Core Vault. Again, um, since there are other autonomous strategy executing platforms that have a predetermined strategy, the strategy for core was basically, core token holders can basically propose, and they kind of have the full control of the core vault, and that was a really good thing. And I believe that this is kind of going to give people some form of confidence that Delta Financial is also going to be successful, because Core was definitely massively successful, right? This decentralized governance model results in a healthier ecosystem that benefits all of the investors by providing flexibility when it comes to adapt to the ever-changing crypto market, as well as reducing the chances of uncorrectable errors in the design of the strategies. Again, this is definitely a good model which will help change the DeFi space. The deflationary farming used by the team allows users to farm without the need of constantly minting new tokens that can dilute its price. This approach consists of not only charging fees on token transfers, but also allowing users to earn a fee by farming, right? Again, they have used this very unique mechanism, which you can also see in Delta Financial. The deflationary farming used by the team allows users to farm without the need of constantly minting new tokens. This is one of the main criticisms of the other DeFi projects, right? Whenever you plan to yield farm, you're basically given a new token which is basically printed from thin air, which is basically minted from the smart contract, and it's basically deflationary, right? To prevent this, the core team had used a deflationary farming mechanism, which was highly successful. This approach consists of not only charging fees on token transfers, but also allowing users to earn a fee by farming. So by not only using this, they use the deflationary farming in such a way that not only will you uh, not only by charging fees on token transfers, whenever you transfer tokens, you'll have to pay a fee, but it also allows people to earn the fee by farming the token, right? So this is some of the key fundamentals that you should understand about Core as well as Delta Finance to understand what Delta token is going to do, right? So again, I want to bring you guys to Delta Financial's website. So if you guys want to go through their website is delta.financial, and this is where you'll be able to see some of the APYs and that their Delta is the Delta token, and the project itself is live, right? So the limited staking window has successfully come to an end. Again, it's already completed as we discussed. Delta is now tradable on Uniswap. The RLP tokens are claimable, and the deep farming vault is producing yield. So again, they are a functioning project right now. Make sure to claim and stake your RLP to earn yield from the deep farming vault. So again, I wish they kind of like bring this project to Binance Smart Chain, because there are certain people who want to participate in this ecosystem, but since it's on Ethereum, the project kind of is excluded many people. Once a similar project like this comes on Binance Smart Chain, or even if Delta Financial aims to bridge to Binance Smart Chain or any other ecosystem which has low gas fees and very high transaction speeds, I believe that it will include more and more people, and there will be a lot of attention for this project because it will definitely revolutionize crypto space, right? So let's go to the CoinGecko page for Delta token. Again, we are only talking about Delta here. We're not talking about RLP. RLP has its own, CoinGecko page, and maybe we'll cover that a bit in this video after I complete the Delta token, right? So Delta token is currently like unranked in CoinGecko, and it's currently trading at $19.28 as of time of making this video. Again, there is not a lot of information here. The market cap is not available because it's a very new token, brand new token. The max supply is 44.6 million. It's supposed to be 45 million, but I believe that CoinGecko is recorded as 44.6 million tokens. Again, I really like the fact that this token is not only deflationary but also has a very low max supply. Let's go to the charts quickly. Again, I don't think you'll be able to see a lot of information from the charts because it's a very new token, and again, we have the information available from 29th of March, and it was trading at $20 per token. It kind of had a huge spike, and then reaching $21, and then crashed down to $19.19, and now it's in and around the $19.50 area, right? Again, very new token, highly high risk, but at the same time, if you trust the core project and if you like core, and you believe that the project has high potential to grow, I believe that Delta is also basically the same team with the same kind of like advanced concepts from core project, but also they have a really good unique solid liquidity providing mechanisms, right? It's available only on Uniswap. So again, I understand that this may probably exclude a lot of people because of the high gas fees. If you hold on to a few more weeks, probably you will be able to find some tier 2 or tier 3 exchanges listing this. It wouldn't even surprise me if this token gets listed on Binance because of its very high quality, very new and innovative means by which they plan to provide liquidity to crypto assets, right? So let's look at the RLP, which is basically one of the other tokens that we can find on Delta Financial. So if you go to CoinGecko, I believe that it's one of the recently added tokens. I do believe that it was added recently, but I don't know if it was added in CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap. But if you see, there should be RLP because it's also one of the Delta projects, right? So yeah, there you go, Delta RLP. So, rebasing liquidity or delta RLP. So, RLP means rebasing liquidity pool tokens, and this token is the second token or one of the two tokens of the Delta financial ecosystem. We saw the Delta token, which was trading at somewhere between $19.50. This token is much more expensive. It's trading at $371.80. Again, it's a rebasing token which constantly increases in value. But at the same time, you can see that this token has recently had a dip of 14.9% in the past 24 hours. Its market cap information is also unavailable, and its maximum supply is going to be 80,000 tokens, right? So it's uh, going to be a token that's going to be very scarce. And if you look at the charts, you can clearly see that this token is highly volatile as expected, very brand new project. It was initially available at $577. It spiked immediately, reaching $646, and then it's been in a general downtrend with random spikes here and there, where it reached $410 and then spiked back up on April 1st and reached $648 per token, crashed down, and then now it's kind of like crashing down. I believe that if you wait a little bit longer, you will probably be able to get both Delta as well as Delta RLP tokens for a decent discount. You'll probably be able to find Delta token reaching like $18 or even maybe like $18 or $17.50 in that range. That will be a good price to buy Delta tokens. But when it comes to Delta RLP or RL or Delta rebasing liquidity or Delta RLP token, you'll probably be able to buy it at around $300 range. But bear in mind that it's still a very new project. It's still very volatile. So if you are not in for volatility, then this token is not for you, right? If you see, this token is also available on Uniswap and no other exchanges. So again, I don't know if Delta RLP tokens will be available in some top tier exchanges because Binance or any other big exchange hasn't really listed any rebasing token as of now. There are a very few exchanges that have listed Ampleforth, but any basic rebasing token like Ampleforth hasn't even been listed on top any of the top tier exchanges like OKEX or Binance or anything like that. So I don't think that this token may potentially get a Binance listing. It is going to be very volatile, and therefore it's probably going to be available in some tier 2 and tier 3 exchanges, but not in tier 1. But Delta, it definitely has a high potential of being listed on Binance or even in multiple exchanges, including Coinbase as well, because of its very strong and unique fundamental, right? So what is my verdict on that? My verdict on Delta token, which is not this token, which is the other token that we saw right now, my verdict on Delta token is basically it's going to perform well. It has everything. Then it has a very novel mechanism. It's one of the two tokens of the Delta ecosystem. I personally trust the core team. I have um, had some really good success with the core project and with the core token. Although I wished I had bought it very earlier, I still have a lot of confidence in the Delta project itself because of its high success. I feel like even core has a long way to go itself, right? So I believe the Delta project is definitely going to do well, and both these tokens are going to do well, especially the Delta token itself. And by staking it, you are able to receive some really good rewards. And also, their main focus is to make it much more scarce and much more valuable, both these tokens, and therefore that is going to definitely add to the price point of both of these tokens, right? Again, I understand this project itself is very complicated, so I suggest you guys to do your own research, understand the concepts of Delta Financial, because it could be really tricky for several people to understand. But once you understand it, I can guarantee that this project will definitely be something that you may probably want to allocate a small uh, uh, portion of your portfolio in. But again, that's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, right? Again, remember, guys, you guys are not regular investors. You guys are brutal investors, so stay brutal. Thank you very much for watching my video, guys. If you like my video, please click the like button and subscribe for more videos. See you in my next video. Bye.